Hey, hope you're all doing well. Today we are looking at the Xvive U4 in-ear monitor wireless system. So Xvive did reach out and ask if I'd be interested in reviewing this on the channel and giving my opinions, and the answer was obviously yes. So quick story time before we get into the details about the unit. I started working with a guy maybe 5-6 months ago, and he came in with one of these units. Now, I'd never heard of it before, and me being me, I was all like on my high horse, oh, I use a Shaw PSM 300, thinking that this would just be, you know, a cheap, crappy little thing. But he totally rated it, and he never had an issue, and he always talked it up. So I was curious about it in the first place. So my prior thoughts about it being cheap were completely inaccurate. This unit is not cheap. It's affordable. Now, what's the difference there? Cheap, when I hear cheap, I think flimsy, plastic. It's going to work maybe a couple of times and then it's going to break. This thing is sturdy. It's built from metal, it's solid, and it's reliable. He never had an issue on stage when we were performing the shows. And so far, my experience with it, it's been fantastic. So I got thinking about how am I going to do this video? You know, how are you going to represent a good in-ear monitor mix? So I decided all of the audio today is going to be recorded through the unit and into my DAW. You may have noticed, or not, that just here is the receiver on the desk, capturing all of the audio, and hopefully you can see these little lights here flashing. So the audio is coming out of my face into this condenser microphone, which then goes into channel 12 there on my XR18. I've got the transmitter there on bus 1, and that is, of course, sending the signal to the receiver on the desk here, and that's going into my interface. Yes. I will be doing just a little bit of post-production on the vocal, but that's it. End of the day, you can do that in your mixer and you can send the same thing to your ears. So audio quality is great. It's 24-bit, 48 kilohertz, and it boasts less than 5 milliseconds of latency. You're not going to notice that. And if you do, then you're a genius. It does run on the industry standard of 2.4 gigahertz. I have the XR18 set to 5G, so there's no interference there. It has a reliable, solid RF connection over 90 feet. Now, I would recommend keeping a line of sight to the device. You wouldn't want to be chucking it on the other side of the wall and assuming it's going to be fine, because there's a wall in the way. That's going to be interference. So line of sight obviously makes sense. If you do happen to experience any interference, all you need to do is simply go to this little knob here and try a different channel. You can see there that I'm on channel number 1, and number 1 is set on the transmitter, and away you go. Now, my only complaint about this way of doing it is, unlike the more expensive units that have an auto scan, which scans the space and picks the less busy channel for your particular unit, this one you do have to try each one of them out. It's not that big a deal. That's just something that I think is noteworthy. This second knob just here is the volume. I'm not going to move that because obviously I've set the level. Speaking of volume, there's more volume on this that you would ever need. Smooth frequency response from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, and a signal to noise ratio of 107 decibels. That's more volume than you're ever going to need. That green light there, that's telling me that is connected and it is synced to the transmitter. The second little square there is the battery. Now, I don't know what happens when it goes flat. I haven't experienced that while I've been using it. But when I charged it, that lit up, and then once it finished charging, the lights went away, so I knew it was fully charged. Speaking of charge, it can last up to 5 hours. It takes 2.5 hours to completely charge the unit. So as long as you either plan ahead and charge it at home before you go to the gig, or you get to the gig and you plug it in straight away, you're going to get some charge happening pretty quickly. As you can see there, charging times, 15 minutes, you're going to get it half an hour. 30 minutes, you get an hour, you get 2 hours, 2.5 hours, you get 5 hours. And they do supply a USB charging cable, but here's the fun part, the other end splits into 2. So you can charge both at the same time. Now that, I think, is very, very clever. right there on the top. Obviously, that's a little 1/4 inch input for your headphones to plug into as well. That says on and off. Interestingly, though, on the transmitter, it says power and mute. So power is on and mute is off. I think it was an interesting choice to choose those two combinations, but end of the day, power's on, mute, no sound. The transmitter also has adjustable levels of what it's going to receive. So there's auxiliary and there's line. Line is plus 4 dBu, and that's what you would use to connect to your mixer. Auxiliary is -10, so that's what you'd use if you were connected to some kind of audio device. So just to circle back to the fact that it has 6 separate channels. Now that not only helps you clean up the interference, but it's an open channel, meaning that if you've got other people in your band and you guys all want the same mix, you can just use one transmitter and you can all set the receiver to the same channel and you'll all get the exact same mix. That's pretty cool, right? I mean, you don't have to stuff around with 6 different people trying to get all their perfect mixes. I mean, you can if you want to do that, but if you're in a rush and you just got to get in, get it done, why not do that? That's amazing. And at the price point, you can literally just buy these for all of your band members and you're going to be set for every show. It also came with a little pouch for you to carry it in from gig to gig. But the best part about that is it also came with an adapter, because not every mixer is going to be the same. Plug your transmitter into that end, plug that into the mixer or the appropriate hole that you need it. If you don't need it, don't use it. Do it the way I've done it here on the mixer. So this is not just for the gigging musician. This can work at home as well. Say you're in a family and you've got a baby asleep in the next room, like I currently do. Sometimes I really hate having to wear these stupid things. I mean, they get frustrating, gets in the way. So I can just grab this little thing, stick it on my belt and have a jam and not interfere, obviously, with the household, but it's not going to get in the way of my playing as well. I hate leads. It makes me like so frustrated. Yeah, there's going to be a lead from the headphone to the thing, but I can be completely detached from it, and I think that's fantastic. Now, as great as this little thing is, it is mono, meaning you cannot separate your instruments left and right. You're going to get everything straight down the center, and that's that. Now, that's okay and totally something that I can live with, especially when I'm using this unit. I do have, like I said, a PSM 300 that I can use for my stereo mixes, and it's in the rack, and I take it to particular gigs and do what I have to do. But in other situations when I just want to go and have a jam, or if I'm just playing guitar in a band, or I'm just singing, I don't need all this extra crap. A mono mix is going to get me by without any issue. It's very important to note that the normal U4 does not come with the earbuds, so you do need to either have your own earbuds already or purchase them separately. They do have a package they offer, which is called the U4 T9, which basically doubles the price. Speaking of price, at the moment, I can find it for 349 Australian dollars. For something as portable and easy to use and robust too, like it's sturdy. 349 bucks, I'd pay that any day. I know I got sent this to review it, but at the end of the day, like I literally would buy this. There is a bundle you can get that has 1 transmitter and 4 receivers, and that basically sets you up in your band for that situation I was explaining before. You've got 1 transmitter and 1 mix sending out to 4 different people. Boom, easy peasy. So there we go, that is the Xvive U4 in-ear monitor wireless system. Totally worth it. As I mentioned at the start, all of the audio today that you've heard has been recorded through the transmitter and into my D8W. The guitar sounds, I did use the Axe effects, so that's why that sounded great anyway. There will be some affiliate links down in the description for you to purchase these kinds of things if you would like them. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and come back and check out some more videos. Thank you to the team at Xvive for sending this system out to me. It's sick. And all of you at home, thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned. I'll see you next time.